Hey everyone, it's Dale here, and in this module we're going to talk about editing video on your phone. So there are some obvious limitations that you're probably going to start running into when you compare editing on your phone as opposed to editing on a computer, but there are a couple of apps that do a really good job of making it possible to have a professional type looking video come straight off of your phone. So therefore, you shoot the video on your phone, you edit on your phone, and you share from your phone all in one. And two of those are Videolicious and iMovie. I realize some of y'all probably have some experience with iMovie on the computer. The app is obviously going to be a little bit different from that, but I'm going to walk you through both of these apps and show you how you can fairly quickly not only take your video that you've shot, but then turn it into something that you would be proud to share with others. So let's walk through iMovie first, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and you'll see the first screen you have is it's going to contain all of your projects. So I have no projects in here as of yet, but if I went ahead and clicked that, you would see it would open up to the project screen. Before we do that, though, really quickly, I want to show you the video tab, and this is where you'll see all of the video that you've shot on your phone. So you can go through and kind of scroll through, look at all your clips, listen to all of them, and you have your video library there. So let's go back to projects, and I'm going to click on create a project. First thing I want to do is I want to create a movie. I don't want to create a movie type trailer. When you see trailer down there, those are like the commercials you see for the movies. I want to create an actual movie. And you have some options here of how you want your video to look. If you want a theme on it, I would suggest you just go with the simple theme. That there means nothing added to it. It's just your video. So when I click create, I now get this option here, and this is our editing screen. And now it's to the point where we need to start pulling in videos. So I have a couple of interviews that I've done for this exercise. And so I'm going to click that little media icon right there on the timeline, and then I'm going to click on recently added. And I'm going to scroll down here, and I interviewed Jason Harris, who's a former student of mine, for part of this. And I'm going to pull in this clip, and you can now see I have options for the arrow pointing down, the play button, or this, which this option will come into play when we want to start covering the video. For now, I'm going to hit that ellipses right there, though, and I just want to download that clip into my timeline.
One more time. So how long have you been at Texas State?
I've been at Texas State for 3 years, but this is my second time as a student.
Okay.
So that's the whole clip, but now I want to go back and edit down just to the parts where I have his audio. So this is where it starts. So I hit split and get rid of that.
I've been at Texas State
now
for 3
you
years,
should
but this
see
is
it
my
starting
second time as a student.
right at the point where I want it to start. And that's the end of the clip. So I have a couple options here. I can either drag it down, or I could do the split option again there. And once I get that, now I have a nice solid clip there.
I've been at Texas State for 3 years, but this is my second time as a student.
Now that I've got that first clip, I go back into my media, and I want to pick the rest of the sound bites. So I select that clip, and you'll notice that iMovie automatically put a transition in there, which is I scroll back to get back to the transition. You'll see it coming up here in just a second, right there. So let's look at that. What that looks like when it plays over.
What's your favorite
you
part
can see
about?
It doesn't quite work because it cuts off the last couple seconds. So if you click on that, you see your options in terms of different types of transitions. That one dipped to black and then went back. I don't want any transitions. So clicking that none.
What's your favorite part about being a
clip
Bobcat?
to clip?
I love the location.
And that's really what I want to do. So now that I have my clips lined up, I can continue to go in and edit all of these different parts of the interview. Here he's coming up on his second answer.
I've been at Texas State for 3 years, but this is my second time as a student. I love the location of San Marcos. I lived around the area for pretty much my entire life, so it's nice not to be so far from home.
Yeah.
And again, once I stop that, all I'm doing is hitting that split button, and that creates that chunk and then moves on to the next one.
What do you want to do?
So then I can go through and continue to find his answers and edit the video down that way.
So far from home.
Yeah.
I'm studying electronic media right now. I'd love to go into sports broadcasting, sports journalism, maybe one day host my own podcast and talk about sports.
So you can continue to go on and edit those clips down until you get the version that you like. When you do that, if you hit done, and then if I click on the little transfer button, you'll see my options here, and I could save that video to my camera roll. I've already gone through, though. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this project since I don't need it anymore. I've already gone through, though, and edited his whole interview down. So I'm going to go through the process again, and I'm going to add media, and you'll see it's this first thing that I have here in my video roll. So I'm going to again hit that the triangle down because I want to pull that into my timeline. And then if I scroll back, we're going to watch this whole thing, and you'll hear how the clips are edited together.
I've been in Texas State for 3 years, but this is my second time as a student. I love the location of San Marcos. I lived around the area for pretty much my entire life, so it's nice not to be so far from home. I'm studying electronic media right now. I'd love to go into sports broadcasting, sports journalism, maybe one day host my own podcast and talk about sports all day. I work for the radio station here, KTSW. I'm currently the sports director, so I'm getting a little taste of everything from management to interviews to hosting my own sports talk show as well. My favorite part of camping's got to be Sewell Park when it's nice weather, and you go down and just can relax, get some sun, jump in the river if you need to. Not right now, of course, because it's a little too cold, but yeah.
So now that I have my interview down, I'm going to begin to cover it with video. And I've already found the spot where I want my first bit of B-roll to go. So you can see that's the splice between him introducing himself and then him starting to say why he enjoys going to Texas State and San Marcos. So I'm going to move it just before the splice, and I'm going to leave my cursor there. Now I'm going to click on the little media icon, which is that film strip and music note, and that will bring me back to my video screen. And I've already shot a lot of video for this story in particular. I've got some clips of Old Main here. I've got other shots of Old Main. I've got shots of Sewell Park. I've got some different shots of Old Main. And then I was in the radio station with Jason, so I have some of those video clips here as well. But let's start first, since we're talking about being in San Marcos. Let's start with, how about just a shot of Old Main here. And so I click on that video clip, and you'll see it has the arrow pointing down, which that's what we use to pull in all of our video clips. But now we're going to click on the ellipses right there, and it brings in the extra options here. And you're going to notice 3 over from the right. So right in the middle, you've got that one square that's kind of sitting on top of the other square. That's the option I want because that's how we cover video. You'll notice to the right, you also have a picture-in-picture option, and then the furthest over on the right is kind of a split screen option. But I really want the clip to completely cover what Jason's saying. So if I do that, it now adds the B-roll to the exact location where I had my cursor. So now we can watch this, and you'll see how it is covering it.
Time as a student. I love the location of San Marcos. I lived around the area for pretty much my entire life, so it's nice not to be so far from home. I'm studying electronic media right now. I'd love to go into sports broadcasting, sports journalism, maybe one day host my own podcast and talk about sports all day. I work for the radio.
So that clip obviously went long, and ideally you wouldn't have a clip go longer than 4 seconds, but just for the purposes of this, let's say I want that shot of Old Main to cover up that whole part of his soundbite. I've moved the cursor now to where I want that to end. So what I can do is I'm going to split. So I'm going to click on split here, and that has now ended that clip exactly where I wanted it to end. So then I can click on that one and hit delete. So now if you notice, I only have the B-roll covering that one portion of him talking about why he chose to come to San Marcos. Again, ideally, we wouldn't have one long clip doing that. We would want multiple clips doing that. Up next, Jason moves into talking about what he's studying. I don't exactly have any clips of him talking about that. So, again, here's where B-roll comes into play. You need to know what video you have to have in order to tell a story appropriately. I'm going to throw in a shot of Old Main, the sign, to talk about that, but ideally I'd have shots of him in the classroom, and I will be expecting better from you than in just terms of making a very generic example here on this. So again, I'm going to move that to exactly where I want it. I'm going to click again on the media icon, And I've got this shot right here of Old Main. And I'm going to go ahead and again click on the ellipses and cover. And it's telling me I'm already at that. So I have to move it over just a little bit. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to find that clip of the Old Main sign, click on the ellipses, and bring it in. So if you watch, I'm probably going to have a second of black. Oh, no, it worked. Okay, so I can move that over just a little bit if I want to make sure that's completely there, but I've got a nice solid transition there. This isn't the best shot. Again, you can see I'm not using a tripod. It's quite wobbly, but I do have a little bit of action going in. You can see the shadows moving, and I've got the student walking behind it. So let's go ahead and see how this works now.
I've been in Texas State for 3 years, but this is my second time as a student. I love the location of San Marcos. I lived around the area for pretty much my entire life, so it's nice not to be so far from home. I'm studying electronic media right now. I'd love to go into sports broadcasting, sports journalism, maybe one day host my own podcast and talk about sports all day. And I work for the radio station here, KTSW. I'm currently the sports director, so I'm getting a little taste of.
And you'll notice that clip also went long. So I moved the cursor to where he stops talking about what he's studying and he begins to talk about working for the radio station. And I want to cut that clip right there. So now that I have the cursor over it and I've highlighted that clip, if I hit split, now it highlights just the end part of that, and I can hit delete. And now it's time to bring in my other clips. So I click on that media icon, and I've got this shot of him walking into the studio. So I'm going to bring that in. And let's see, I'm going to leave that for a few seconds, and I'm going to end it right there. I don't know if that's the best shot for it, but we'll keep going. And then I've got this shot, which I'm going to bring in right there. And I'm going to continue to do that and leave that for a few seconds. Now I'm going to split this one as well. Okay, so now I need to continue adding clips. We haven't done enough to cover the radio portion. I'm going to go back to my options here. And I think this clip, if I can scroll through, that may have been just a mistake clip, so let me try this. Here I've got shots of him actually in the studio, so I'm scrolling over to lengthen out this shot because that's the one I want right there. So now I'm going to move that one in, and we can go ahead and now see whether we have enough to cover the radio portion.
Everything from management to interviews to hosting my own sports talk show as well. My favorite part of campus has got to be Sewell Park when it's nice weather, and you go down and just can.
So the clip went a little long again, and I've now marked it back to the spot where we want to end that particular part of B-roll. So I'm going to hit split again, and I'm going to delete that clip. And this is where Jason now begins talking about Sewell Park. So we're in the home stretch of editing our video. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to, I can do this a couple different ways. I've got all my shots right here, so I can choose which ones I want. And let's do that first. I'm going to move the cursor over to the beginning, and then I've got a nice little 14-second clip there, which is way too long. Let's get that closer down to... Okay, 7 is at least closer, and I can trim that right here. So I'm going to trim the river shot right there, and I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to get a different shot of the river, and here's the water. So we'll bring that in, and I need about, let's do that shot. I've got to wait till I get the tripod set. So there's about a 5-second shot of it. I'm going to move that in. And that matches the end of the video. So now we can go back and watch. And I'm not by any means pretending this is the most perfectly edited video. I'm having to do these in steps because I cannot record my own voice and listen to the sound on the video inside this demo player that I'm using right now. So now let's stop and watch the whole video again, and you'll at least see that we've somewhat got the parts covered that we want, and they're all covered with B-roll that is pertinent to what or what Jason is talking about.
I've been in Texas State for 3 years, but this is my second time as a student. I love the location of San Marcos. I lived around the area for pretty much my entire life, so it's nice not to be so far from home. I'm studying electronic media right now. I'd love to go into sports broadcasting, sports journalism, maybe one day host my own podcast and talk about sports all day. I work for the radio station here, KTSW. I'm currently the sports director, so I'm getting a little taste of everything from management to interviews to hosting my own sports talk show as well. My favorite part of camping's got to be Sewell Park when it's nice weather, and you go down and just can relax, get some sun, jump in the river if you need to. Not right now, of course, because it's a little too cold, but yeah.
All right, so some obvious problems there. One, I used the same clip twice. Two, I had some movement in that last clip. Let's pretend it's perfect, though, just for the sake of brevity. And let's pretend like we're ready to move on with this story. Now, we can do a couple of different things. We can add some text. So I could add, a text here that says Jason Harris. And you have options here of where you want it placed. I'm going to leave it there, and you'll notice that Jason Harris now stays up. The thing I don't like about the text in the iMovie app, though, is that it stays up the whole time. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. And I think we're good to save. So now, in order to do that, I would hit Done. And again, if I wanted to save that video, I could just click Save Video there, and then I could also upload directly to Facebook from here, directly to YouTube from here, and so you're good to go. You can control all that within the iMovie app itself. All right, so that's iMovie, and now let's take a look at Videolicious. I'm already in the app for Videolicious, and the first thing you're going to notice is that step one is selecting the B-roll shots that you want. So it's a little bit backwards from iMovie, where we got the audio part laid down first, and then we selected the B-roll to go over it. In Videolicious, if you want to do a pre-produced video, you do things backwards, and I'll show you the other way to use Videolicious here in just a second. So I've gone ahead, and what I did, I'm going to use Jason's example again here, is I've already cut the clips down to the size that I really want them, and this is going to be really important as you move forward with your projects out in the park. I would heavily advise you to shoot in 10-second increments. To shoot one shot for 10 seconds, stop recording, move your camera, shoot another shot for 10 seconds, stop recording. Do them that way so that you have access to each individual shot, as opposed to I've got one 5-minute clip and I've got 40 shots inside that 1 5-minute clip. This makes it a lot easier to use apps like Videolicious. So I already have the edited portion of Jason's audio down, so I know what he says and I know the order that I want the B-roll to play. The first thing I want this shot of Old Main, and you'll notice it now has a number 1 on there, so it's the first shot in order. I've got a second shot of Old Main here. I've got the sign of Old Main. Then Jason talks about the radio station, so I want this shot of him walking in. I want that shot of the clock, not the clock, let's use the radio dials there. And then I want this shot of him in studio. Then he begins to talk about Sewell Park. So I've got these right here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and that will now put them in order. And now brace yourself, you're going to get a dose of me recording this video here. When you click on step 2, this is where you can begin to either film yourself talking about something, or you can import something. So I'm going to go ahead and click, hello, there I am. But if you click there at the top, now I can go in and select Jason's audio. So here was that 39-second clip I have of him. And I can now hit play. And when I begin to hit play, I can start selecting the video that I want to play over. And it will tell me how much longer I have in that clip and before I need to hit the next clip. So let's go ahead and go through this, and I'm going to show you what it looks like through the process.
I've been in Texas State for 3 years, but this is my second time as a student. I love the location of San Marcos. I've lived around the area for pretty much my entire life, so it's nice not to be so far from home. I'm studying electronic media right now. I'd love to go into sports broadcasting, sports journalism, maybe one day host my own podcast and talk about sports all day. And I work for the radio station here, KTSW. I'm currently the sports director, so I'm getting a little taste of everything from management to interviews to hosting my own sports talk show as well. My favorite part of camping has got to be Sewell Park when it's nice as weather, and you go down and just can relax, get some sun, jump in the river if you need to. Not right now, of course, because it's a little too cold, but yeah.
So you'll notice it went ahead and generated a preview, and now we have the capability to go ahead and watch the story and see how it played out. A couple of things you'll notice. One, I wasn't able to listen to the audio while I was doing that. You will be able to. It's just that demo problem I'm having here. So some of the clips may not have played perfectly. But two, Videolicious will automatically throw in transitions between the two. And so keep an eye for that. And really, it's all about customization. Do you want it to look that way, or do you want to have complete control over how your video looks on top of your interview? So if you want that, iMovie is the better option. If you're okay with kind of letting it go to chance for the most part, I mean, you're still telling the app what to play, but you're not picking the exact second that it's starting or what exact second of the clip it's showing. If you're okay with that ambiguity, then Videolicious is a nice, easy way to do that.
I've been in Texas State for 3 years, but this is my second time as a student. I love the location of San Marcos. I've lived around the area for pretty much my entire life, so it's nice not to be so far from home. I'm studying electronic media right now. I'd love to go into sports broadcasting, sports journalism, maybe one day host my own podcast and talk about sports all day. And I work for the radio station here, KTSW. I'm currently the sports director, so I'm getting a little taste of everything from management to interviews to hosting my own sports talk show as well. My favorite part of camping has got to be Sewell Park when it's nice as weather, and you go down and just can relax, get some sun, jump in the river if you need to. Not right now, of course, because it's a little too cold, but yeah.
Okay, so there's a second option of how you use Videolicious, and that's to record the audio live as the video is playing on your phone and you're watching it. So I'm back at step one here, and I'm going to click on Choose Shots. And I just went out and shot some video of Lucy while we were out on a walk. And I'm going to select these shots of Lucy out on the walk. And you'll notice I have them all in individual shots. So I didn't shoot one long clip. I began shooting, got the 6 to 10 seconds, then I stopped, then I started a new clip, then I started a new clip, then I started a new clip. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And now we'll begin the process where I have to actually record the video. So this is going to be live. So when I click here in the middle of the screen, it's now opening up the camera, and you can see I was closing or covering the camera. So hello everyone, how are you doing? Now I'm going to go ahead and hit record, and I'm going to tell this story of Lucy while the video is popping and playing through on the right hand side of my screen. Hey everyone, my name is Dale Blastingham, and I'm here to tell you about the sweetest girl in the world, and that's my dog Lucy. Lucy I got from a rescue agency about a year ago, and there is nothing that she loves to do more than go for walks. She loves being outside, she loves sniffing, she will spend all night sniffing outside if you let her. She also just loves to sit there and observe. So she likes knowing what's going on, she likes looking out the window, and she is just the sweetest girl who I could ever imagine having in my life. She loves kids. She's really cool and collected around them. And overall, she's just the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I can't imagine life without my sweet Lucy girl. All right, so you can see that ended up being pretty nice. The video is a little shaky at the beginning, and you're having to do this live. I'm going to get off myself so we don't have to watch this all over again. Let's get Lucy up on screen here. There we go. I'm recording that story live, so I'm kind of reacting to the video that I see that's coming up on my screen. So again, it's that completely opposite mindset from iMovie, where you're worrying about audio in the story first, and then you cover it with the video, as opposed to Videolicious, where you have your video clips and then you're responding to the video. You'll notice it was so much easier to have those in the way I shot them, which again is how I recommend you shoot out in the field. Start a new recording, get one shot, stop it. Start a new recording, get one shot, stop it. So you might have 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 different video clips, and that's fine. At least you'll have them all individually saved so you can use them when you go on to use apps like these. One other thing about Videolicious, it's only a minute long, so without the paid version of it, you only get a minute or so to shoot or to record your stories. So you can't do anything incredibly long on Videolicious, the free version of the app at least. But that's it for this week's module, or this latest module. These apps are really easy to use, just you have to play around with them and get used to them.